right, you need to start with 5 blocks of room temperature cream cheese. You really want these to be room temperature. They will blend much easier. Are you okay? My dog just woke up from a nap. I don't know if you heard that. Oh, she's too funny. You'll need 5 blocks of cream cheese. You're going to need eggs, room temperature, 5 whole eggs plus 2 egg yolks, and 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. And you'd seen that we pressed that graham cracker crust into our pan. That pan it's a spring form, so it'll open up and the bottom is removed. That's the type of pan that you really are going to want for your cheesecake. Now, if you don't have it, but you really want to try making a cheesecake, just try with something. You're just are gonna have to cut it within the pan that it's in. You won't be able to remove the round edge exposing your cheesecake crust and outer, layer. That's okay. Go ahead and try it. It's worth trying. It's going to bake the same way. I would be willing to bet it's just the finality of it, the presentation will be different. You'll just have to keep it in that pan. So don't let, having to go buy a specialty type of spring pan make you feel limited as to making a cheesecake. You have nothing to lose. Go ahead and try it. I have the crust in the fridge, just waiting for me until I'm done with this. I also have my oven preset to preheated to 500 degrees. Now, I don't want you to, if you've never made a cheesecake before, you're going to only cook it at 500 for just a short amount of time, and then you drop your temperature dramatically. That's just really going to get your cheesecake to set like immediately, and then you're going to do a slow bake. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to blend your cream cheese together. You want it very smooth. So that's 8 ounces, 5 of them. You could go by weight. So if you do the math on the cream cheese the way you purchase it, they also have those tubs. It might save you some money to do it that way. It'll certainly save you all of this packaging. I've never done that. I probably should look into it. And then I also would stock up on cream cheese. Usually around the holidays, they have a big sale on cream cheese. And so that's definitely when you want to go and stock up on it. Let's get this creamed together. So that is very smooth, creamy, because it's just cream cheese, of course, but it's definitely smooth because you don't want a lumpy cheesecake. So that's probably, my number 1 tip is to just take your time and cream everything together, each step of the way. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. If you really want your cheesecake to be kicked up a notch, use fresh squeezed lemon juice. But here I am in December. I don't have fresh lemons, so I'll just use this. It'll still be good. Usually in January, I will get, December or January, I'll get it doesn't go there. I'll get a order of citrus from Azure Standard, because where they're at in California, it's citrus season and that's fresh. And so December or January order, I generally do citrus only, and I will squeeze a ton of lime juice and lemon juice and keep them in those tube-like packages, those popsicles that you eat in that plastic wrapper. They're the long skinny tubes. They're exactly that, and that's how I store it. And then I can have fresh squeezed lemon or lime juice almost all year long. It lasts me. And then I'll do an order of oranges for fresh eating as well. Haven't decided if I'm going to do it this year or not. I have to make my mind up soon though. Okay, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Go ahead and get that blended nicely together. My next set of ingredients I'm going to sift together, and then we'll gradually add it here to the mixer. We're sifting because again, we want to prevent clumps. So if you don't have an actual sifter, then just use like one of the fine strained mesh type of colanders. That'll be fine too. And you could get those from the dollar store. So 1 3/4 cup of sugar. We need 3 tablespoons of flour. One, 2, 3. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're going to gradually add this to the mixer while it's going. Egg separating is a lot easier when you have a room temperature egg as well. 2 egg yolk, 1/4 cup of cream, heavy whipping cream, with a clean spatula, because you don't want to use the spatula that you were using earlier because it's going to have lumps of the cream cheese, and you don't want to redistribute that here into your mixture because it is velvety smooth. So we're going to wipe down our sides here. Almost like a custard at this point. And we're gonna mix it a little bit more. All right, so here is the final mixture, and you will see when I pour it into my pan how smooth it is. I just pulled this from the fridge. You do not pre-bake it. And I'm just going to pour This is going to go into the oven, 500 degrees, set a timer for 12 minutes. Once your 12 minutes is up, you're going to then change the temperature to 200 degrees. You can check on it. Don't get in a habit of opening up that, oven door a lot. But I would say roughly around 40 to 45 minutes, you might want to start checking on it. You can use a toothpick or cake tester. I would kind of caution with that because you don't want to overcook your cheesecake. So the 2 main areas people go wrong with a cheesecake is not making it smooth and using room temperature ingredients and having it really smooth. The other area and probably the most common is the cooking process. So if it's completely cooked through and you're using that cake method of putting a toothpick and it comes out clean, it might be overcooked in my opinion. There's going to be a little bit of a jiggle, kind of like making a pie, a pumpkin pie. There's going to be a little bit of a jiggle, but once it's completely cooled and settled and then you put it into the fridge overnight, it sets up beautifully. The other area that people just doesn't have any interference of what your cheesecake will taste like, but it tends to crack down the middle. Sometimes it happens, most of the time it doesn't. I don't know what it's going to do today. You can put like a water bath underneath to prevent that from happening. I don't, and sometimes I have an issue with cracking. Most of the time I don't. I generally don't care. I don't need it to look pretty. I just want it to taste good. Plus, I eat mine plain, but a lot of my family likes it with strawberries or cherries. And so if you are going to add something over to the top of it, it doesn't matter. No one's going to know that it is cracked anyhow. So let's get her in the oven and I will show you what it looks like, of course, at the end. We are not going to take it straight out of the oven. When the 45 minutes is up, you turn your oven off and you crack your oven door. That's why you don't want to overcook it, because it's going to continue cooking and setting up during that process as well. But I will show you what that jiggle should look like so that it gives you a good idea of what you could expect when you're making yours. I'm going to crack the door open. Now I'm gonna let you look in and see how dark that is. I have a new oven. I have not made a cheesecake in this oven yet, and so I fear that the temperature is obviously very high. I do have a second cheesecake to make. It's a different type, so I'm going to lower the temperature for my second one. This isn't going to bother me one little bit, the fact that it's dark, but I do want to let you know that you can certainly fix that. So if you have a hot oven, maybe set it to 450 instead of 500. But once it's out of the oven, officially, I will let you see what it looks like. So here's the cheesecake we made yesterday. I covered it last night, let it cool down completely, and then put it in the fridge. About an hour ago, hour and a half ago, I stuck it in the freezer. I don't think it's probably frozen all the way through, but probably hear some background noise. I apologize for that, some work's being done. But this way, what it will do is when I release this pan, not as much will stick on the outside. Fingers crossed. That is not a step I typically take if I don't need to freeze it. If we were going to just eat it today or the next day, I would just keep it in the fridge, unlock it, and whatever sticks. I usually find a spoon nearby and eat whatever is stuck on the outside. Uh-oh. So you can see it broke a little bit. That's my older pan. So I will either have to freeze it more next time. It's gonna still taste good. We're just gonna patch that together. Nobody will know. So this is our cheesecake. Like I said, it is very dark. I've never had a cheesecake this dark before. The cheesecake that's in the oven now, the peanut butter one, certainly not that dark. So this recipe, I'm going to need to turn down the temperature. So I suggest if you don't know how your oven reacts, maybe start at 450, play around with it a little bit. It's still gonna taste good, and my husband's gonna call this perfect. Anything that's over baked is perfectly baked for him. So to wrap it for our Christmas here in a week when we're gonna be ready for it, nothing special. Just wrap it a ton of times in your plastic wrap and try and get as much air out as possible. And just store it somewhere where nothing will fall on top of it, be placed on top of it, and pull it out 24 hours ahead of time. Put it in the fridge, and then you can pull it out maybe about a half hour to an hour before you're ready to serve. Because there will be a lot going on at that time, I don't know if I will bring you back. This might even be uploaded before then, I'm not sure. But I will tell you a good tip for cutting your cheesecake. In my drawer, I keep floss. I use unflavored waxed floss for cheesecakes and for cinnamon rolls. So you don't have to worry about the cheesecake sticking to your knife. You just pull it down all the way and then pull it through, wipe it clean, and just do that. So that way you only have the motion of going down and pulling out under where the crust is once you get to the bottom, and you have clean cut lines every single time. Here you have it. It's gonna go into the freezer, and I'm gonna have to hold off for another whole week before I get to try this.